welcome back. We're on day 3 of Comic Palooza. We're about to wind it up here. I was trolling around on the floor, picked up a few vendors, and one of the vendors that really caught my eye was a vendor called Blindsense. And I am here with
Brett. Yeah.
Brett, tell us about Blindsense.
Yeah, so Blindsense is our personal project, our passion project, and what it is it's a community outreach for the blind and the visually impaired, because we're a bunch of big nerds that like to play Dungeons and Dragons, and so we've developed a phone application that allows blind and visually impaired users to autonomously play and manage their character sheet for Dungeons and Dragons. Do you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons?
I do. I haven't played in years, but I do.
All right. So there's a lot of like character management on the sheets and stuff. So what's nice is Dungeons and Dragons has blown up a lot lately, like because of Stranger Things and podcasts like Critical Role, and so. But there's lots of money behind D&D Beyond and Roll20, but none of them are really investing into accessibility options.
Okay.
So we decided that's what we're going to do with we use our day jobs to fund this to lower the barrier of entry as much as possible for those who want to play Dungeons and Dragons. And so that's everyone over there. That's the whole company. All 3 of us, me, Jeremy, Stephanie. We do software development, and we all came out here for this weekend. So it's been pretty fun.
Okay, all right. And tell us about how is this now? You said it's on the phone. Is this also? Will this be on other devices as well? Are y'all working on that too? Or
for now, we're just working on mobile devices, Android and iOS. We do plan on launching a Kickstarter eventually to expand it to more operating systems, because as we're working more and more with the blind communities, we're starting to recognize what peripherals are being used the most, which devices are like the best to target to make sure that we include as many people as possible.
Okay. And how would it work as a player, and how would it work as a dungeon master?
So, Dungeon Master, that's tricky because right now there's no Dungeon Master functionality for it. So it's exclusively for a player. Okay. But basically you would download the phone application and you would start with creating your character. And it will step you step by step. Each like, okay, what do you want to name your character? What class would you like your character to be? What race? And then there's a lot of customizability because not everyone makes their characters the same. Some people, they like to roll for their stats. Some people, so it's like it'll hold your hand through the whole character creation process, and then you have your character sheet. We also plan on adding functionality to where if you have a physical character sheet, you can just take a picture of it and it'll load it in for you. Okay. So that way, if someone else has been managing your character sheet for you as a blind individual, then you can just ingest that and then use it. And then from there, you would sit around a table with your app. You would have your Dungeon Master tell you your story, and then, oh no, a goblin comes and attacks you. What do you do? It's like, well, I attack with my longsword. And then you can feed that voice command into the app, and then it'll read your character sheet and then tell you what your role is. Or you can navigate the blind-friendly UI and select it that way. And that would be your back and forth. Oh,
that's cool. I really love the idea. I really love the idea of this.
Yeah, like I said, we're all big nerds, so it's really fun to be able to engineer something that gets more people into our hobby. And yeah, so we're really excited about what the progress we've made so far.
Now, will you be able to, are you going to expand out to perhaps other card games as well?
Yeah, actually, so part of the Kickstarter, because specifically some things we have our site on are like Pathfinder, Starfinder. There's a lot of rule sets, and so we want to see where the interest is in the communities. And the hope is that this might spark a little fire to be like, okay, well, we would love, other people would reach out to us like, oh, we would love to have this rule set become accessible, and we'll be glad to incorporate that. So the sky's the limit, but for now we're trying to focus on the popular one to at least which is 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, to get the word out and get people curious, because we're also interested in letting people add their own homebrew world rules. We're really excited about like trying to make this like as robust as possible.
Now, are you working with the blind community on what their needs are going to be for this?
So the most helpful community, and I want to give them a shout out, is Knights of the Braille, which is specifically an online community for blind users who want to play Dungeons and Dragons. We've cooperated with the Lighthouse of Houston, and here at the con, we've met a lot of other groups that have reached out to us, and we're working with them to like get more people involved, because there's also a lot of like blind communities that just don't know that Dungeons and Dragons is an option, and so we want to introduce them to D&D just like as for fun. So like it's been we work very closely with the blind community, because like there's a lot of things you would think are obvious for you. Like whenever we open up a window in like our computer, we can expect where to find that close button.
Yes.
But if you've been using blind accessible apps your whole life, like is there a standard that just exists for some reason? So I also want to give a shout out to our friend Taryn. Okay. He's been our #1 tester. He's in Iowa right now, but he has experience, or he's a blind, visually impaired user who has 10 years of experience with visual accessibility technology. So he's been really helping us like just hammer out the details, make sure that we're delivering a good, like an ergonomic product.
And what other realms do you want to expand out to later on once this becomes?
So while we're here at the con, actually, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of accessibility that blind users will use. Like there's peripherals like a keyboard and little clickers that a lot of other people would use. Like if they have like a difficulty manipulating their hands, it's more likely they'll have a clicker that they hook up to their phone and use that. And so we already designed our app to work with that, so it just so happens to be really helpful for that. We had a father approach us asking about what if they have a daughter who's visually impaired and deaf, and so we're looking into different technologies. We really, again, like it's the target is inclusivity. We started with visually impaired because that's what we knew, who we worked with the most, and so now we're starting to realize like how connected all the communities are with helping each other. We want to expand how far we reach out and how many people we're able to help.
Oh wow, that's great. And will you be expanding into other fields of disabilities as well, or?
So I'm thinking the next one seems to be a lot of like manual dexterity disabilities. That seems to be the easiest transition. As we have goals, but like we're capable, like we really want to like get more research in before like I lie to you, like basically like, oh yeah, no, I'd love to do that, but like, oh, like yeah, I'd love to like do this, but then I'm like, man, I don't have the capability. But for now the like manual dexterity issue seems to be like the easiest one that we're interested in expanding out to after visual impairment.
Because what really got me was the fact that as an older gamer, I'm now in my approaching my senior years. Yeah. We got about another 20 to 30 more years.
Okay.
I want to be a long-time gamer, and I have seen that there's a lot more innovations toward the disabled community. Yeah. And for older gamers as well, because I know a lot of my gamer friends have issues, especially with dexterity, using controllers, having an issue seeing screens, that kind of stuff. So,
and that's something that's interesting. Is like also I don't know how much video gaming y'all get into, but there's a lot of innovation and reaching out to the blind community in general. With for example, The Last of Us. I don't know if you've heard. Like they have a really, you can be fairly visually impaired and still complete the game from beginning to end with their accessibility options. Tekken 8 has a blind mode. It's like, so I'm really excited to see like gaming is becoming more inclusive, there's a lot more options for everyone.
And if people wanted to throw money at this is a great idea, folks. Where can we find the Kickstarter?
So right now, our Kickstarter hasn't started yet, but you can keep an eye on us on our social media. D404 Software. We're planning out our Kickstarter, and we want to make sure that we launch it right. But D404software.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. we'll start putting out our feelers once we're ready to launch a Kickstarter.
Well, we're a show full of people with autism and ADHD, so you got to write all this stuff down for.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was like, yeah, no. And I'm glad you say that. I'm glad you say that because everyone we work with is like, it's never just one thing. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm just a little visually impaired. It's like, no, we're for example, I'm diagnosed autistic, so like, I fully appreciate it. I'll leave a card for you, give you a shout out. And so right there.
Okay, and if you want, you can just scan the QR codes. We have our link tree on our QR code on the poster. For the most part, you know what? We have information. We're gonna have information. We have Kickstarter. We have everything else. I think we got everything.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for having us out. Like again, since we fund this all ourselves right now, it's just right now we're really community building and letting people know that we exist, letting know that gaming is for everyone. So we're gonna make it for everyone.
So, thank you for coming on, Brett. We really appreciate you coming on the show.
I really appreciate it too.
All right. So thank you.
Enjoy your day.
All right.